Hello there, children. Today we are going to work on factoring again. Now, we've talked about the basic rules for factoring, where you do a GCF first. And we've gone through all of this material. We are now going to look at if A does not equal 1, what do we do? So we have a quadratic. There is no GCF other than 1. And unfortunately now my first term, or the coefficient of x squared, isn't 1. So today we have the Urban method or the extra x method. Today we are going to in fact tackle the extra x method. So let us begin. So let us look at this particular factoring problem right here. 8x squared minus 67x plus 24. What do we do? Well, unfortunately for us, we've got some issues. 1, it's a 3-term polynomial, and there is not a GCF other than 1 between 8x squared, negative 67x, and 24. So what do we do? Because now the a isn't 1 anymore, it is 8. So what do we do? This is where we go after the extra x method. So what you do is this. When I say extra x, what I am going to write extra here, quote unquote, is I am going to write my binomials like I would to factor. I am going to take this first term here, this 8x squared, and I am going to be so nice and write it twice. That's the extra portion. Now, the problem is I know right away that if I go to FOIL this to check, it will clearly not get back to the original problem. So what do? I need to figure out these numbers and somehow adjust these binomials. So you are going to need to find your AC value, or the coefficient of your squared term and your constant term multiplied together. 8 times 24 is 192. Now, I need to find two numbers that multiply to 192 and add to a negative 67. Let us think about that for a minute. Well, after thinking about it, I realize that these numbers are going to be negative 3 and negative 64. Both these numbers, negative 3 plus negative 64, equal negative 67, and negative 3 times negative 64 give me 192. I then write those two numbers right here. Now I know what you're thinking, Mr. Faust. Mr. Faust, this doesn't work. Like, this clearly will not fall back to the original problem. And you're right, it won't. But what I can do is look at the first two terms here. What do they both have in common? Well, they both have in common an x. Pull that out. And I'm left with 8x minus 3. Alright, what do both these terms have in common? Well, 8x squared and a 64x have an 8x in common. And I'm left with x minus 8. Now look at this. What did I write extra to start off with? 8x squared! Thank you, imaginary voice in my head. What do I have currently sitting out in front of my binomials? 8x squared! Oh boy. Well, that means I can cross those out because they shouldn't have been there to begin with. Everyone knows they're gone. And what do I have left over? My binomials. What kind of wizardry is this? Now, if you're not sure if I factored this correctly, what could you do? FOIL it to check. Let's do that here. First, 8x times x, 8x squared. Outside, 8 times negative 8, that's negative 64x. Inside, negative 3 times x, negative 3x. And last, negative 3 times negative 8. That gets me a positive 24, and lo and behold, this simplifies back down to the problem that I started with. Oh, snap. Let's continue to another one. So, let's look at this problem here. Now, I have, again, an issue because I have negative 36, 7v, and 4v squared. Unfortunately, there is no GCF other than 1, and that a term isn't 1, it's 4 here. So I'm going to get my AC value. 4 times negative 36. Well, 4 times negative 36, is negative 144. Now, let's ponder here. What are two numbers that multiply to negative 144 over here, but add to a 7? Those numbers would be 16 and negative 9. So I begin to write my extra here, which the extra was 4v squared. I know in the end I can't have that, but I'm trying to get rid of that when I factor out GCFs. So I write the 16v and the negative 9v. No, it does not matter where you put the 16v and the negative 9v. Looking at these first two terms, what is their GCF? Why, it's 4v, leaving me with v plus 4. What is the GCF of these two terms right here? Why, it's just v, leaving me with 4v minus 9. Now, lo and behold, look at the two numbers out in front. A v times a 4v is 4v squared, the number that I wanted extra to begin with, that I put in there when I wasn't supposed to. I can cross that out, and what is left over are my factors. That is the extra x method in a nutshell. You are now able to go complete and factor some more. Happy hunting!